Final notice to Lara Croft, current tenant of premises. This is to serve as your final notice for the purposes of terminating your ownership of Croft Manor. You are required to immediately vacate and surrender possession of said manor to Atlas de Mornay, executor of estates.
Love, it is unfortunate that you have forced my hand in this matter, but so be it. As you know, your parents appointed me executor of the estate in the event of their absence. Since your mother disappeared, her death was never technically declared, and given the circumstances surrounding your father's death, it's no surprise that he never drafted a formal last will and testament to account for this circumstance. Unfortunately, you have no legal claims to the estate. I'm willing to negotiate a modest monthly stipend from your trust, but only if you leave the manor by week's end. Don't fight me on this, Lara. Your mother wouldn't want that. Sincerely, Atlas.
There has to be a will or some kind of evidence of what happened to Mum in the manor, somewhere. Dad's safe. Needs a combination. It's got to be in Dad's papers somewhere. Maybe in the library. My birthday crown. I was so proud of that thing. That's my handwriting. My penmanship was pretty good.
Well, this is a hell of a thing. I met someone tonight quite unexpectedly. But it shouldn't have been, it seems. I've been so buried in my work, so distracted by my latest revelations, I never bothered to notice my surroundings. But there she was, sitting at my table in the library. Her name is Amelia, and apparently she's been studying right next to me. Art history, of all things. I shared some of my research against my better judgment, but I wanted to see how she would respond, and she did not disappoint. I felt as if I was suddenly engaged in a mental game of chess, moving and counter-moving in argument. At one point, that poor old librarian had to shush us as if we were children. I feel so foolish for not having noticed her earlier. She's a brilliant woman who's challenged my ideas for the first time in memory. In truth, I don't know if she's feeling as exhilarated as I am right now, but I dare say our conversation was mutually stimulating. For the first time in a long time, I find myself thinking about something else besides my research. I hope she returns for another round tomorrow.
My parents made a good team, challenging each other from the start. Dad would have liked me to go to Oxford, but I insisted on UCL. Yep, looks real. Roth once offered to forge me a fake diploma to show Dad. A picture with Dad and Anna. Never liked wearing dresses, but the color was nice. This is probably my grandfather, Benjamin.
I finally introduced Richard to the family. It went precisely how I imagined. I see but polite grace.
It must have been hard for Mum to go against her family's wishes. I'm glad she did. Dad's map of the forgotten cities of northern Syria. He was closer than he knew to finding the Prophet's tomb. Dad's book about immortality myths might be useful in my research. One of Dad's Yoruba masks, a gift from a friend he met on an expedition in Nigeria. Dad's artifacts from the Nile Valley. I always loved looking at these. Dad became interested in immortality myths after his expeditions to Egypt. Well, hello there, Sir Lancelot. Don't worry, you won't be boring your sword this time. The Grand Hall. Always loved playing in here as a kid. This will be one of the first things to fix.
What are you doing sitting there on the floor, Mistress Lara?
Looking at the compass. Thinking.
What about, if I may inquire?
Just thinking about
The offer came in the post last...
discovering faraway places. About finding adventure.
I'm sure you will, my lady. You've the soul of an explorer. But don't grow up too...
Got to remember to pack this for my next trip. Should be able to explore the dark now. Hey, Jonah. Not sure. I really need... Another one of Dad's immortality artifacts, I think.
Lara, you know the West Wing is off limits.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to see.
We've been through this.
Need a key to
Mum's
open
room in
this.
here.
Just stay out of there, darling.
Dad was always so protective of the West Wing. A phoenix figurine. I bet this appealed to Dad's... The door to the library. Locked. There's got to be another way through.
Lara, since your return from your expedition to Yamatai, I've grown increasingly alarmed. Lara, I've reviewed the report.
This is the map I made for my first expedition with Dad. It shows a path to the library through the servants' passages.
Amelia, the news has reached Mother.
Falling apart. Maybe I should just let my uncle have this place.
They say a good test of a relation...
I'm not surprised he asked her to marry him as soon as he got the idea.
Amelia, I know we have...
Still just as creepy as I remember.
My lord, I hope...
Poor Winston. I remember being so angry. He was
King
always
to
so
Queen
patient
one.
with me.
We're going to win this time, Winston.
Clever girl. But you should know by now...
I would play chess with our old butler Winston on this board. Never could beat him. I always chose white. Maybe if I let him go first once in a while, I might have won.
Winning isn't everything. Queen to King's Bishop 6. Check.
loved a good bottle of wine. I can still smell his face.
I'm at a cross.
Easy for you to say. You always win. Knight takes queen.
What I mean to say is try to enjoy the journey, Lara. Don't rush to victory. Bishop to King 7.
I know, Winston. I just want... Oh no! I didn't even see that!
You should also know by now, I'm not to be trifled with on this board, young lady. Mate.
Oh, I am going to win. Someday. This is it! The basement of despair!
Indeed, Lara. Muster your courage, for this is the only path to the Library of Infinite Knowledge.
Look there! See the string?
An ancient Egyptian tripwire. The Keepers of Knowledge want none to disturb their treasures. We must tread carefully.
Let me lead. I know how to spot all the traps.
I'm sure you do, my darling. Lead on!
One of the wire traps Winston made for my birthday expedition. Winston used my hair ribbons to make this. He and Dad put a lot of work into this birthday surprise. Water damage from the main hall above. Plans for adding electricity to the manor. Dad used to say his granny hated all the bright lights. There's a missing page.
Amelia...
Okay, Dad's ledger has to be in here somewhere. Hopefully it has the combination to the safe.
I've created a clever little map for Lara's birthday expedition. I used the invisible ink Amelia picked up for me in Morocco so many years ago. At the time, I remember being so annoyed by that rather aggressive street vendor, but she just smiled in her sunny way and paid him without a second thought. I assumed it was just a tourist scam, but it actually works. Turns out it requires a very specific kind of vellum and a heat source to illuminate the ink after it's dried. It should prove a nice challenge for Lara to puzzle out.
One of Winston's notes. He always hid sweets for me to find. I remember this now. Each district in ancient Egypt had a symbol and a number. I always preferred these symbols to the actual number hieroglyphs.
Now, let me see. These two myths are referencing the same source.
This was always one of my favorite books in this library. I used to trace hieroglyphs.
Real. But where did I see this image?
Dad, I think it's this one, in the chapter on Egyptian districts.
I've reached the monastery.
Dad was looking for an elixir. Was it the elixir of life?
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's...
Okay, got to find those objects to figure out the combination to the safe. There's something else here. This music is familiar. It's beautiful. It appears Sir Reginald's helmet fell off. Or didn't I put it back properly? Dad's lighter. I don't remember him ever using it, though. The Croft family crest and initials BC. I wonder if this... Okay, should be able to light the fireplace now. Took quite a tumble off of this old thing when I was a girl. Still feel it in the shoulder from time to time. Blank, except for the image of a key. I remember this map now. It leads to the master key, but we made it with a special kind of invisible ink. It could only be seen with the heat of a fire. I think I stashed one of Winston's master keys in here when I was a kid.
Yes, I think you're right, Lara.
I remember the page with the illustration of Ra.
My goodness, you've been paying attention, haven't you? This could be an important breakthrough.
Does this mean I'm your research assistant?
That and more, my darling girl.
Takes me back. Those were good times. The best times. This should help me read the map. I can see the map. Looks like the key is hidden under a trunk near the bookcase. X marks the spot. as they say. The master key. This should get me into the West Wing. All right. This should open most rooms in the manor, including the forbidden West Wing. I think there might be more clues to find in the library. I think there might be more clues to find in the library.